It's time for The Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host for the day, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Taste of Kego 2.0 is currently underway right here in the four communities with participation from several local restaurants, including Jaybird's, Lorenzo's, The Lodge, Dwar Chocolate, and even one of the newest restaurants in the city, Cannell Bakery, where our very own Kevin McIntosh is joining us from live on The Splash. Kevin.
Thank you, Jake. We are live right here in Kego Harbor for their Taste of Kego 2.0 going on all week, celebrating local restaurants. I'm here right now inside Cannell Bakery with the manager, Ava Mason. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Hello.
Now, we're just talking about Taste of Kego and what it means to local businesses. So from your perspective, what does Taste of Kego as an event highlighting restaurants mean to you?
It's just like an opportunity for everybody to come together and to enjoy each other's time and just get to know each other, I guess, if you're friends, and also just enjoy some good food.
Now, we are here in our very small community right here, but like we said, we are highlighting local businesses that make a great impact to our local economy. Can you just talk about what makes the restaurants in the restaurant scene here so unique and so special compared to other Metro Detroit areas?
I would say just that they're not all the same. So there's like a diner, or there's, now we have a coffee shop, the French coffee shop. It's just kind of diverse, I guess, and it tastes, I guess. Yeah.
And that's essentially what Taste of Kego 2.0 is for, right? To highlight the essential different restaurant, diverse culinary cuisines that we have here in our Greater West Bloomfield area. So with that being said, we know of some of the great restaurants that we have already established. Is there any other type of restaurant or food or dish that you would prefer or that you would like to see come to our local area?
I would say more coffee shops, I guess. I think we need more of those, but maybe some Middle Eastern food.
Okay, nice. Just something to add a little bit more flavor to Taste of Kego 2.0, but right now we are highlighting restaurants right here in Kego Harbor doing Taste of Kego 2.0. It's going on all week, and I'll make sure I stop by to grab something, and you make sure you do as well. Back to you, Jake.
That whole conversation is just making me so hungry, but it's great that we're highlighting all of these local restaurants here in the four communities. Big thank you to Kevin McIntosh for that live hit and for getting that information right at Cannell Bakery. Icy roads are a constant problem here in the four communities, and the Orchard Lake Department of Works is doing their part to keep our roads safe, clean, and easy to navigate. But they're doing so with a much more eco-friendly alternative to traditional rock salt. I recently had the chance to stop by Orchard Lake Town Hall to hear about the process and to hear how it's helpful for the environment.
So we basically take a bucket of salt with our tractor, load it in the brine maker, and that thing is basically the same thing as a big hot tub, if you will. We just mix it up until it gets to 23.3 salinity, if you will, pump it into our tanks. Once it gets in our tanks, we will mix it with beet juice, which is either an 80-20 or a 90-10, and pump it on the roads. It's better than just using rock salt, if you will, right? It's already pre-diluted salt as it is, so you're already putting a pre-diluted product on the roads. So it's less intrusive into the lakes and our streams and whatnot. When we spray it on the roads, it stops from the bonding of the snow. So if you can imagine, you come home from work, you drive on your driveway, it gets hard packed down. This basically stops it from getting hard packed. So when we go and plow it, it just comes right off, basically. This stuff actually has a lower melting point, if you will, so it will work. So salt only works to about 15 degrees. This stuff we can actually, like last week I used it at -2, and it actually was melting snow without a problem. Where most other communities, their roads were all snow covered. Ours were wet at -2 degrees.
What I have actually seen through the years, and with our DPW staff having this thing dialed in, is we actually use less salt over the years, which is better for our environment, better for our roads, and it's just a great process they've got dialed in here. The thing is we have a lot of environmental ordinances that we deal with as far as protecting our water quality in our lakes, and this is just another aspect of how we're doing that here in the city. Obviously, with these new facilities we just acquired a year and a half, 2 years ago, they're able to maintain the equipment better, wash it after every snow event, so we get better longevity out of our equipment itself. But again, just dialing in on the winter maintenance program and protecting our city and our environment.
Have the winters gotten safer over the last couple of years?
No doubt about it. I think we take a lot of pride, our DPW takes a lot of pride in how we do our winter maintenance. I think that we get a lot of accolades from our residents about how clean our streets are, our local streets are. In fact, a lot of them have comments about, hey, I can get out of my subdivision, but once I get out on the county roads, I can't go anywhere because they're snow covered. But we do take a lot of pride on maintaining our roads properly.
How do you see things continuing to grow with this department and for winters in the future?
Well, I see that these guys, there's every year it seems like come out with a new product, new techniques. So these guys stay up to tune on all those new techniques, and we're just going to refine the process or just fine tune it the best we can to do what we've been doing over the years.
Well, we can't wait to see what some of these new processes will be to help keep Greater West Bloomfield safe. A big thank you to Jerry McCallum and Mike Lee for allowing me to stop by and see this process up close and firsthand. The West Bloomfield Police Department is continuing to grow as officers Rachel Strix and Casey Summers were officially sworn in, joined by Township Clerk Debbie Binder, Supervisor Jonathan Warshay, and Police Chief Dale Young. Both officers bring valuable law enforcement experience and are eager to serve the West Bloomfield community. The West Bloomfield Police Department is very excited to have the both of them on board, and we wish them great success in their brand new roles. So welcome to the team, Officers Strix and Summers. And if you want to see the photos for yourself and wish Officers Strix and Summers your congratulations, you can check them out on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. The Orchard Lake Police Department is mourning the loss of retired Sergeant Detective Daryl Betts, who passed away on January 27th. Sergeant Betts dedicated over 51 years to law enforcement, serving with multiple agencies, including the Michigan DNR, Sylvan Lake PD, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. During his 16 years with Orchard Lake, he was honored with the 2018 Officer of the Year Award and was known for his leadership, his kindness, and professionalism. His impact on the community and his fellow officers will not be forgotten. May he rest in peace, as we do thank him for his many years of service to the Greater West Bloomfield community. Looking out for our kindergartners here in Greater West Bloomfield. Kindergarten Parent Info Night is going to be taking place tomorrow, Thursday, January 30th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And here to tell us more on what parents can expect, we have the principal of Chico Elementary School, Blaine McDowell, joining us right now on The Splash. Blaine, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We love having you with us, and we're really interested in hearing some more information on what parents can expect from this night and what the kids can expect as well.
Absolutely. This is really designed for parents, so there'll be future opportunities for students. But yes, January 30th, that's a Thursday evening at 6:30 at West Bloomfield Middle School. We're going to gather as a district so that parents can learn more about our kindergarten programs. They will learn about a typical day in kindergarten. You know, kindergartners do morning meeting and they do science and social studies, and they learn how to write their first and last name and their numbers. So all the things that are expected, including the life skills that kindergartners experience and the field trips and all of the activities. And then the parents will also get to meet all of the building principals, and they will also learn how to enroll. So it's a really important night, and we will also have that information available on our website. But it's really nice to hear it in person and get to meet some of their future, the principals, but also the, other parents of kindergartners in the district. It's nice to connect in person.
That's right. And kindergarten, it's one of those very formulative years for the kids. It certainly was for myself, and I would imagine it's the same for many other kids. So this is a great opportunity, I would imagine, for the parents to really take a look inside of the school and to get a good sense on what they can expect and what their kids can expect as well. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You know, kindergarten in West Bloomfield is truly magical. I mean, they do so many fun things. You know, we celebrated the 50th day of school with root beer floats and poodle skirts. We have lots of field trips and experiences. It's really a whole child approach to kindergarten and to learning. And I just couldn't gush more about my kindergarten teachers and our whole kindergarten team in the West Bloomfield School District.
Well, they do so many great things for the community, and we thank them for everything that they do. And I want to talk a little bit more about what nights like these really mean, not just for the school, but for the school district. As does the reaction from the parents and the feedback really play a big factor from what you gather from nights like these?
Definitely, because parents ask such great questions, and you know, we try to put as much information out there as possible, but they ask such good questions that it helps us tailor our programming and our enrollment process to be even better than it already is. And we just really value our community and our parents, and we really want to be there for them. So the more that we can have opportunities like this, the more connected we are, and that really helps us get kindergartners off to a great start.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Chico Elementary School Principal Blaine McDowell joining us right now on the Splash to talk about Kindergarten Information Night that's going to be coming up very, very soon on Thursday, January 30th. Now, you guys are also going to be getting a lot of help on this night from some of your partners like the West Bloomfield Library and West Bloomfield Parks and Rec. Talk a little bit about their role for an event like this.
Well, you know, it's great that they start off this kindergarten journey with us because we use their resources throughout the year. For example, our kindergartners actually went to the West Bloomfield Library. They also have a great program that involves 100 books that children should read before they start kindergarten or even as they're in kindergarten. And that's a really great family thing to do, a family event. So we have so many partnerships with them for kindergarten and really for all of our students, and they are very supportive of our schools. It truly is the best library I've ever seen. So it's great for parents to, if they're not connected with the library, to get all of that information. And, you know, we're just so grateful for the partnership that we have in West Bloomfield.
And it's great to see all of the amazing benefits that come from these great partnerships. And it's amazing that all of these kids are getting the benefit from that. So is there any other big news that's going to be coming up for a night like this, and maybe some teasers for what parents can expect with their kids for this upcoming school year?
You know, I would say the main thing is that we are so happy that the transition from 5 elementary schools to 4 has gone seamlessly. We are situated, and I think that will make a very smooth transition. The parents were so supportive in that process. And now we have a lot of common experiences between the 4 elementary schools. And that really will show, I think, in the kindergarten parent night. In addition to that, I feel that parents will really benefit from attending just from that enrollment procedure. Even though things are online, you know, just being able to hear it in person really helps. I know it always helps me as a parent. So we really hope that everybody can join us on January 30th at 6:30 at West Bloomfield Middle School.
Well, let's certainly hope a lot of people come out to benefit Chico and to benefit the entire school district. Blaine, I want to thank you so much for your time today. One more quick question. Where can parents go to get a little more information about this event, just so they're fully up to speed?
Absolutely. So if they go to wbsd.org and search kindergarten, they will be able to find all of that information. If they have an older sibling, they should be sure to check out the newsletters that come from the school. The flyers will be in there, as well as all of the West Bloomfield School District communication. The flyer is in there as well. So lots of different places to get it.
All right, you heard it here first. That's the place to go, and that's the place where you can learn all of this information about Kindergarten Information Night. Blaine, thank you so much for your time today here on The Splash.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate Blaine for stopping by and to giving us that information about Kindergarten Parent Info Night, which once again will be taking place tomorrow, Thursday, January 30th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We're going to take a quick break, jump into a few more stories from right here in Greater West Bloomfield right after this. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Kevin McIntosh from Civic Center TV, inviting you to join us as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King with United We Walk. Take a front row seat as Greater West Bloomfield celebrates unity, diversity, and giving back, all in the image of Dr. King's dream. The 31st celebration is available now on demand at civiccentertv.com, or you can tune in on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
What people are watching in Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Coming up very, very soon, you are going to have the chance to give back to the community by giving just a little bit of your blood, as the West Bloomfield United Methodist Church is going to be holding a blood drive coming up this Friday, January 31st. And here to tell us a little more about it, we have Reverend Elizabeth Hurd, the pastor of West Bloomfield United Methodist Church, joining us right now on The Splash. Pastor Hurd, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Always love having you with us. Really happy to be talking with you and really interested to be getting into this conversation about this blood drive. How has the United Methodist Church with West Bloomfield become such a vital partner in organizing local blood drives like these, and what's the response been from the community so far?
You know, it's been a little while since we've had a blood drive. It's probably been about over 10 years. And the church has just been thinking about ways that we can engage with the community and give back to the community. And we thought about, what if we just reached out to the American Red Cross and asked if they needed a space to host a blood drive. And so we're kind of getting back into the swing of things after 10 years. And The response from our immediate congregation has been wonderful. We have lots of people who have signed up to give or to volunteer and help. And every time we've talked with people out in the community about it, like at the Faith and Community Alliance that we just met here this past Thursday, the response has been pretty positive. And so we're excited to be able to host and to kind of see how we can build this partnership up again and make it strong.
That's right. And I've attended a couple of the blood drives we've had here in West Bloomfield recently, and I've seen just how much the community has rallied around events like these, and every little bit helps and goes such a long way to benefiting so many people who might be dealing with medical things that might require more blood. And what makes the winter season particularly challenging for maintaining blood supplies?
You know, I'm not sure if it's just the winter season. When we've met with our American Red Cross liaison and the person organizing it through the American Red Cross, she said that really since the pandemic, there has been a shortage of blood, not just in local regions. There's always kind of been blood shortages in local regions, but they've seen more and more nationwide blood shortages. And so whether that is just people got out of the habit of giving during the pandemic, or they've been unable to give, or just have not thought about going, blood shortages have been more and more common, unfortunately. And we know that giving blood can be life-saving. And so we wanted to do our part to try to encourage people to give more.
I can certainly understand how something like the pandemic can alter someone's view on a practice like this and maybe give them a little bit of concern. But it's great to see that more and more people are starting to give back again. But maybe not everyone is comfortable just yet. So beyond giving blood, how can residents get involved in supporting the success of local donation events such as this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's a multitude of ways. One of the best ways is to just let your friends and family know that there's a blood drive going on. You might know people who are donors. You might know people who maybe have never donated before but have been thinking about it. So, share the information and let people know that there's a blood drive going on right in the West Bloomfield community that's easily accessible to folks in this community. But also, we will take any volunteers if you want to come and help serve cookies or juice to make sure that people who do donate are able to kind of get their blood sugar up again after donation, or just talk with people as they have to wait 15 minutes after a donation. Those are ways that you can volunteer as well. I mean, we have people in our congregation who gave blood in the past but are no longer able to, and those are the ways that they're engaging, is helping with check-in, helping with welcoming people, giving out cookies and juice afterwards, talking with folks. And so there's ways that you can support it beyond just giving blood. And we're more than happy to take any volunteers who want to come on in.
And yeah, just like with giving blood, every little bit of support goes such a long way. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Reverend Elizabeth Hurd with the West Bloomfield United Methodist Church joining us right now to talk about the church's upcoming blood drive that's going to be taking place very, very soon. And how does hosting this blood drive, or blood drives like this one, align with the mission and values of the West Bloomfield United Methodist Church?
I have a little bit of a joke here, so let me be a pastor for a second. But I say if Jesus gave his life for us, we can give 1 pint of blood for the sake of others. But really, the United Methodist Church has always been a church that has cared deeply about community health, cared deeply about the ways that we can serve the world. And so community outreach events or donation events like this really do align with our mission and ministry, which is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And I can't think of anything more transformative than offering somebody a chance for life through the donation of blood. So it's just a wonderful way that we can engage with the community and also serve and give back and live out our faith here.
Well, we appreciate everything that you do. A big reminder to everyone, the date of this blood drive is going to be Friday, January 31st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So make sure you come out there and to give your support to everyone here in the community. I got one more question for you, Elizabeth, before we let you go. Are there plans to expand or increase the frequency of blood donation events here in West Bloomfield? And if so, how can the community help to support these efforts?
You know, I think that the Red Cross would love to have more hosting sites and more donation sites around West Bloomfield. I believe the closest, don't quote me on this, but I think the closest Red Cross donation center is in Farmington Hills, which is a bit of a drive for folks within our community. And so we're looking at maybe possibly, depending on how this one goes, maybe setting up another one in the future. But also, if you have a local organization, a local faith community, or anything like that, just get in touch with the Red Cross and let them know that you're interested in hosting a blood drive, because they're looking for partners and hosts for places right here in the community.
Looking everywhere they can, but great information and a great way for the community to get involved. Reverend Hurd, we thank you so much once again for your time here on The Splash this morning.
Thank you.
It's another one of those great ways for everyone in the community to stop by, get involved, and to help give back to those in need. One more reminder that the blood drive is going to be taking place Friday, January 31st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So make sure you stop by and help give a little bit and a little bit of blood to help go a long way. The West Bloomfield community and the West Bloomfield Police Department are distributing free lock boxes and lock bags to help prevent accidental ingestion of medications, marijuana, and edibles. It's an initiative known as Lock It Up. And here to tell us more about this initiative, we have the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition, Lisa Berkey, joining us right now on The Splash. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Really, really good. Glad to have you with us and interested in getting into this topic. So what inspired the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition to launch the Lock It Up initiative?
So Oakland County came to each coalition and said that they had for us free bags and free lock boxes. And once we got this supply, we brainstormed with the police department on the best way to get these out to our community.
Great. And it seems to have already had a great effect on the community. Everyone's really excited about this initiative. How have you seen unsecured medications, marijuana, or edibles impact families in Greater West Bloomfield?
So I personally don't know of a situation, thankfully. But what I would say is it can happen anywhere and to anyone, especially with how edibles these days look so much like a gummy teddy bear or brownies looking like a regular brownie. So we know it can happen and we just need to take our precautions. And the same with our prescription meds. Lots of people just keep them out. We know our grandparents keep them on a Lazy Susan, usually on their dining room table. And it's just important that we lock them up and be away from our youth.
That's certainly right. You never know where a lot of these things can pop up. And you're right about how they are looking a lot more like pieces of candy, like someone could pick up a gummy bear and not realizing that it's going to give you something way worse than a sugar rush. But can you explain the process of picking up a free lockbox or a lock bag and how community members can properly take advantage of this resource?
Super easy. Just go on in to West Bloomfield Police Department. They are up at the front desk. In fact, I have samples with me I can show you.
Oh, perfect.
This is the lock bag, and there are directions inside on how to lock it, but the zipper parts just go into here, and then you set a code. This is also supposed to be smell-proof for marijuana. And the other one is a lock box that looks like this. And you can set a code. There's also like a link in here so you could chain it to something. And you just have to go to the police station and pick it up. what we're suggesting is not only for homes to keep these away from kids, some other good ideas are if your house is up for sale, you should not leave your medication in your medicine cabinet. You should lock up all your prescription meds and take them with you. So this is a great tool for real estate agents to hand to their clients. And then we were at the Spirit of Grace diabetic pantry a few weeks ago, and one of the people took a bag for when they travel. They said they travel quite a bit and they wanted their prescriptions locked up in their hotel room so they weren't easily accessed by the cleaning crew. So I thought that was another great suggestion.
It's interesting to hear how you are already communicating with the Greater West Bloomfield community and helping to get those resources out to a lot of people. For those just joining us right now on The Splash, we have Lisa Berkey, the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition, talking about the Lock It Up initiative and the free lock boxes and lock bags that are currently being distributed by the West Bloomfield Police Department. And I want to talk about how this initiative fits into the broader mission of what the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition is trying to accomplish.
Well, our mission is to build community partnerships to help our youth grow to their greatest potential. So this is a great example of a community partnership working with the West Bloomfield Police Department, as we always do, but also helping our youth grow to their greatest potential. We're keeping drugs and marijuana and edibles away from our youth so they're safe.
That's absolutely right. And it's good that you just mentioned the police department, because I also want to ask, what's their role? How do they play in supporting this program, and how has your partnership with them truly helped community engagement?
Well, we've partnered with the police department for years. On most of our programs, they're one of our main partners. And we are working with them so it's easy access for people to pick it up in a very comfortable situation, no questions asked. And also, we have given it to the police department so when they go to community events, they can also hand it out. So it's like all of our partnerships, we work really well together on trying to make our community a safer place.
Well, it's great that this partnership is doing so much good for the Greater West Bloomfield community. But I can imagine that not everything is easy with a program like this, as great as it is to have these resources that are free for everyone to just stop by and pick up. There might also be some challenges. So what are some of the biggest challenges in educating families about the risks of unsecured medications and substances?
Just hard to get people to listen. To make the time. Humans don't tend to be proactive, they tend to be reactive. And all of our programming and education is preventative. So we just have to get our parents to listen. And that's always our biggest challenge, is to get people to read what we send out or come to our events and listen to the education and get the tools they need to keep their children safe.
Well, programs like this are certainly helping to get the job done. Lisa, thank you so much for your time today. I got one more quick question before we let you go. Looking ahead, what future initiatives or expansions do you hope to see in the future to help promote household safety in Greater West Bloomfield?
Well, first of all, the police department has a box in their lobby. It's called Operation Medicine Cabinet. West Bloomfield residents can drop off their unused or expired meds in that box 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't accept liquids or needles, but all prescription drugs they will take. The other thing is there's one in the fall and in the spring. It's called DEA Take Back Day. And it is an initiative throughout the United States that we promote and let people know that they can go to the police station on that day, especially to drop off their unused and expired meds.
Well, it's great to have that information out there. Lisa, thank you so much for your time and stopping by The Splash today.
Thank you.
Really great to have this information out there and these resources available for people to pick up and to keep your prescription medications safe, as well as keeping harmful drugs away from people who are not in need of them. So big thank you to Lisa for coming by and for explaining these resources to all of us here today. Today is the Oakland County Point in Time Count. That is taking place right now. It's a comprehensive effort to count and survey people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January each year. And here to tell us more about that process, we have the president and CEO of the Community Housing Network, Kirsten Elliott, joining us right now on The Splash. Kirsten, good morning. A little more for the overall, for people who may not have ever heard of something like this, what it really means for the people of West Bloomfield or for the people of Oakland County.
Absolutely. So the point in time count, we've been doing the point in time count in Oakland County and actually across this country since 2007. And it's a night where we go out within the last 10 days of January. So every community across the country is doing this right now. And essentially, it's to get a count of all of our sheltered and unsheltered folks that are experiencing homelessness. And the reason why this is so important is because that gives us a way to see, are our interventions helping? Where does funding need to be reallocated? Who are we seeing that is showing up in our shelters or who are experiencing homelessness out on the street? And so that can help us know where we need to tailor our services to.
All very important things. And yes, it's great to have these resources and to have this information to help people who might be experiencing something like this. And Kirsten, what have you seen throughout Oakland County in terms of the homelessness rates throughout the last few years?
Absolutely. So we did see a little dip during the pandemic, and that was there was a lot of extra funding available to help people stay housed and stay in their homes so that everybody could be safe. We are seeing an uptick. Last year across the country, we saw an 18% increase in homelessness. And it was a little lower here in Oakland County, but we did see an uptick in it. One of the fastest growing populations that we're seeing right now in our homeless population is older persons. So people who are 55 and older, we're seeing them, that population increase, which is definitely on track with how our populations are trending, but it is definitely worrisome.
I can imagine. So it's something that you don't want anyone to deal with. You wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy. And what have been some of the things you've seen around our area, around West Bloomfield?
So within West Bloomfield, we're seeing definitely, so there is that perception that there's no homelessness in West Bloomfield. A lot of times the folks that are kind of like under the cover, some of them are doubled up, people who are have housing instability, and they might not be what we call literally homeless, living out on the streets or in a place not meant for human habitation, but they are doubled up. They are needing to have housing assistance. And the reason why it's so important that we address this issue across all of our communities in Oakland County is because it affects everybody. If a family member or if you have an employee who is having housing instability, that means you're going to have higher turnover, and that employee might not be able to get to work, or their kids might not be able to get to school. And so really, for communities to thrive, we really want to be able to make sure that everybody has that housing. And so in West Bloomfield, we've been seeing definitely, when we go out and canvass, what we get is we get a lot of individuals, or we'll canvass like Target, we'll canvass the gas stations and different like Planet Fitness, and they'll say, oh yeah, we know this person, they're living in their van behind here. And so we are able to then help them, give them the resources so that we can work and have our outreach teams follow up and go back out and meet with them. But they are there.
That's absolutely right. And sometimes, like you said, it's not the typical homeless picture that you see in your mind. It can be in many different ways. But whatever the way, it needs to help be prevented. For those just joining us right now, we have Kirsten Elliott, the president and CEO of the Community Housing Network, joining us right now on the Splash Live to talk about the Oakland Point in Time count that's coming up very, very soon. And Kirsten, I want to get into a little bit on what Community Housing Network does to help these people who are dealing with homelessness or are dealing with financial struggles that might lead them to homelessness. What are some of the things you help to do to help get these people back on their feet?
Absolutely. So Community Housing Network, our mission is to empower people to live in affordable homes so that all of our communities can thrive. And it is essential. So we do everything from street outreach and helping people if they're living in their cars, living out on the street, to get connected to housing and other resources that they would need to get into housing. We also provide permanent housing and we provide rapid rehousing. And those are programs that are designed for folks that are homeless to get rapidly housed so that they can start to rebuild their lives and get into recovery or get employed and get back into school and to be part of a thriving community. We of course don't want anybody to become homeless in the first place. And so we really work on prevention and diversion and helping people to connect and with other resources that they might have, helping them to brainstorm and think of different ways, getting connected to other prevention funds. So last year, we helped over 17,000 people, and we've invested over $12.5 million back into the community. That's directly to participants to help keep them housed. And again, it's about that prevention, and it's about making sure that people don't get into the situation to begin with. And so we also work with families and who have family members with intellectual and developmental disabilities to help plan for and make sure that there is a housing situation that will help them to thrive and be independent in the community while meeting all of the needs of the family and that individual. So we do everything from the gamut. We do a lot.
You guys certainly do a lot, and it's because of that work that you are helping so many people, and we do thank you for that, Kirsten. And I understand that you guys also put a special emphasis on people with disabilities and their families to be helping them as well. Could you explain a little more on that?
Absolutely. So we work with Oakland Community Health Network, which is the behavioral health provider in Oakland County. And we have our Oakland Housing Link program, which is a program that helps family members and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities navigate housing. Housing is a very complex system. And when you have, in finding accessible housing that will work in your budget, it can be very daunting. And so what we do is we have housing brokers that help family members plan and to learn how to develop, how to match roommates, and find housing that would be most appropriate for their loved ones. It's always a challenge. I have a son who has cerebral palsy, and I know it's just finding accessible housing that is affordable is very hard, and then making sure that he has the support that he needs to be able to live independently is also very important. So we work with all of the service providers in the community to make sure that everyone is housed and supported the way that they need to be.
That's great to hear about your personal connection to something like this. And in watching this interview, a lot of people might be inspired to get out and help themselves. And I'm curious, how can people help out with this cause if they're interested?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, monetary donations is always welcomed. We have volunteer opportunities. We also have a lot of opportunities to provide in-kind goods. So we do drives for cleaning supplies, welcome home baskets. You can go to communityhousingnetwork.org. Also, learn about housing instability, housing challenges, different policies that can help make a difference for individuals and families so that our community can thrive and that we all can participate equally in the community.
Well, really interested in hearing all of those great resources. And as a reminder for everyone, the Oakland County Point in Time count is going to be taking place on Wednesday, January 29th. Kirsten, I got one more question before we let you go because we are running short on time. Is there any more information you can provide to the people of West Bloomfield about Oakland County Point in Time?
The main thing that I would say, we already have all of our volunteers ready for the point in time count. is to be on the lookout for our volunteers. We will be out canvassing between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. that night. And so if you see us and if we come into your business establishment asking, do you know of any individuals that are homeless, please do work with us and tell us where where people are at, if you know where that. And we really appreciate it because it really does take a whole community to do this. And we do canvass all of Oakland County, all 62 municipalities. So
it certainly does take a village, but it takes a lot of effort and hard work, and you are certainly helping to provide that. Kirsten, we thank you so much for your time in joining us on the Splash Live today.
I appreciate your time, and thank you for the opportunity.
It's inspiring to hear about all of the great work that Kirsten and her company do to help so many people fight the cause of homelessness and to prevent it. So big thank you to her for joining us on the program. With health and well-being becoming more of a priority than ever before, Henry Ford Health has just recently opened the doors on their new behavioral health center located right here in West Bloomfield. The building is located on the Henry Ford Health West Bloomfield campus between 14 Mile Road and Maple Road, just west of Drake, featuring several incredible resources with a large focus on behavioral health. I recently had the chance to stop by the new center and to speak with some of Henry Ford Health's top officials to hear about what they had to say regarding this brand new building and what it will bring to the people of West Bloomfield.
So this is, as we say, a state-of-the-art facility for all things mental health care in an acute care setting. This helps us double up our operating capacity to help care the needs of the patients in our community who are presenting in different settings for acute behavioral health issues. Over about 2 years ago is when we started hashing out specific plans related to a location and a particular setup that we wanted to build here on this campus itself. So yes, a long time coming, but at the same time, it brings in a lot of excitement for our community and for our partners.
It's designed for 184 beds to treat acute inpatient psychiatric patients. We have 8 different patient care units, 6 courtyards, a beautiful gym, and dining areas, and just a lot of lovely technology, safety, and the most amazing team that's ready and prepared to provide care in this facility.
What makes this behavioral health building different from some of the others around the West Bloomfield area?
Absolutely. So this building gives us the opportunity to provide that compassionate care to our patients who are coming in a state of crisis. This helps us build those collaborative care teams to help facilitate patient care, to help them get started on the path to recovery, and then also to ensure that this is the kind of environment where anybody who works in mental health care feels like they can be proud of the setting that they're working for.
Well, I think a lot around the space and the design for safety and for therapy, making sure that we have great areas for privacy, great areas for clinical collaboration, easy access to all of our other locations and hospitals and facilities within Henry Ford, too, to be just really centralized to be able to provide this type of care. I've seen so much collaboration and so much partnership, and I think being able to focus on also imagining ourselves in a new space, I think for me as a leader at that facility, a leader at this facility, getting the opportunity to watch my team members dream, to watch our other collaborative partners dream, to watch just everybody who's engaged in it dream about the care that we're going to be able to provide here, how we're going to be able to expand services and expand. That, for me as a leader, has been really the most inspiring part, to watch, to see just everyone start to come together and think about all that we're going to be able to do here.
Henry Ford prides itself in terms of compassionate care, right care for the patients at the right place and the right time. And this is one step closer towards that goal. We all believe in highest quality of care for our patients. Patient safety is number one and the most important thing that we all drive home to. So I think community can look forward to a world-class health facility right in their mix.
And there's so many great resources to feature at this brand new behavioral health center. So big thank you to Henry Ford for allowing me to stop by, get a firsthand look inside the new hospital, and to hear the many great things they're going to provide to the people of Greater West Bloomfield. At West Bloomfield High School, a unique class born from the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic is making a lasting impact on student mental health. And that is the positive psychology class created by veteran teacher Jennifer Cepetis, who is joining us right now on the Splash Live this morning. Jennifer, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Love to get into this topic and really interested in hearing on how a great class like this came to be. So what was the true inspiration behind putting something like this together?
So it actually happened because of COVID. It was during COVID, I started to send out surveys to all of my students to check in with them to see how are they feeling physically, how are they feeling emotionally. And I was overwhelmed by the response and what they were sharing. And I thought, wow, they are going through a lot. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety, and they were in need of a lot of support. At the same time, I happened to go back to school myself at Oakland University, and I started in an educational leadership program to work on a PhD. So at the same time as students were getting stressed, my focus 100% became on studying student mental health. And I started looking for programs, evidence-based programs, and things that I could do or that our district could do or what other schools were doing across the country and throughout the world to help support students. So that's how things initially started. And in doing all of this research, I eventually came into discovering positive psychology, which is currently taught at a lot of universities and colleges across the country.
Well, it's great that you are applying a lot of what you've been learning to these kids. And how important is it for you to be checking in with these kids so often and to making sure you have that relationship that they can trust you and that they can talk to you about some of these things?
It is incredibly important. The first unit we discussed, and it's happening right now, and this is actually unrelated to positive psychology, but it's about teen stress. So students talk about and write about their stressors and the things that they are going through. I would say the biggest one is academic stress, and then it's family stress. And students learn that they are not alone, that so many of their classmates are going through very similar things. Some students are going through some really heavy trauma and depression, but I'm helping them learn evidence-based strategies that they can use to help support their well-being, and also things that they can do in case they are really struggling with anxiety and depression, and they need some extra support that maybe a counselor or a therapist or school social workers or psychologists would need to provide.
It's one of those important things that I think everyone needs to remember, no matter what age you are, is that you never truly know what somebody is going through. You could see somebody walking down the halls of a school or walking down the street outside. You never know what they're dealing with, what their story is, and if they're dealing with something really, really tragic right now. And I want to ask, what does this class help to provide some of these students who might be going through a bit of a tougher time right now?
It's things that they can do to help themselves. And they learn that really happiness takes work. It doesn't just automatically come to each and every one of us. And we are not happy every single day. We are human beings, and there are ebbs and flows throughout life. So students are learning things that can help bring meaning and purpose and to their lives, and how they can get into what we call in psychology the flow state, where they're really engaged. They're going to learn about the benefit of forming positive relationships. So they are really learning evidence-based strategies, things that they can do right now to make themselves feel better, and strategies that they can use in the future. Because they could be totally fine right now, but then next week, they could end up really needing some extra support.
That's right. It's an important process. And like you said, it's not going to just be fixed within the matter of a few hours. It takes time to get back to a positive mindset, and it's great that you're working to help these kids with that. Could you go into detail a little bit more on some of the methods that you have in this class?
Sure. So one of the key components is building gratitude. And that may seem so simple when we think of, oh, you want to be grateful. But it takes practice, and we do exercises in practicing gratitude. So evidence shows that writing in a gratitude journal or really thinking about the good things going on in your life will help. So you want to start thinking about not why my life is so terrible and, oh, this person said this to me, or I did really bad on a test. You want to think about what are 3 good things? What is one good thing maybe that happened to me this morning? It could be as simple as I hit every green light as I was driving to work. Or it could be the copier worked this morning. I'm so happy. That was a good thing. Because you start to change your brain. The chemistry in your brain starts to change. And instead of constantly dwelling on the negative, you're able to shift and start to think about, okay, yes, this happened, but I also have these good things going on. And a lot of students are not used to really thinking about that. So we practice it every day. And at first it might seem strange, but they tend to notice over 20 weeks, because again, the class is 20 weeks, that is helpful. Another thing that we do in class is we practice mindfulness and meditation. And there's a lot of things online that people can learn about meditation and practice, but it's really closing your eyes and being still. We focus on at least 5 minutes every morning, where you're just being able to sit in silence. And it's unbelievable how little time we give to ourselves to do that throughout the day, and how just 5 minutes of quiet, because we're all so flooded with social media or people that need something or things we're worried about. But just to close your eyes for 5 minutes without the intention of falling asleep, and just to be still as best you can really help reset and recharge for the day.
I can imagine that. I've meditated a few times here and there, and it certainly does help, especially when you're dealing with a really stressful day. For those just joining us right now, we have social studies teacher with West Bloomfield High School, Jennifer Cepetis, joining us right now to talk about the positive psychology class that's currently going on with West Bloomfield High School. And Jennifer, you've talked a little bit about what you've been providing for these students. What have these students had to say to you in regards to the things that they've taken away from this class?
Students at the end, they fill out a survey so I can know what worked for them and what they feel like they're going to use in the future. And some students have written back to me who have completed the course, who graduated, and they have found that the mindfulness has been helpful. Also practicing gratitude. Again, those are the 2 big things. And I think the breathing techniques, learning how to, there's different things that we do to breathe with our hands and gestures, and just focusing on our breath that can help them maybe before a big test, before they're going in for a job interview, or it could be public speaking, anything that kind of gives them anxiety. Some of my athletes have also reached back out who are currently at a college level playing football and have said that they are using mindful visualization before going out for a game, just closing their eyes and being able to focus and having that quiet is something a lot of college teams are now doing with their own players. And they were able to learn it here first from the class.
Well, it's great to hear about all these amazing things that these students are taking away. We are running short on time, Jennifer, so I got one more very quick question for you. Sure. Do you think that this is going to open the door for more classes like this in the future?
I 100% hope so. I think that this class and these strategies could be taught to everybody, elementary school, preschool, because we're building as time goes, building on these strategies, and without practicing, they're not going to work. So it's really like exercise for your brain, and that is very, very important for building wellness and well-being in everybody.
Well, it's great that you are helping to provide these things for these students. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time here on The Splash today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Glad to be hearing about a great class like this. But that is going to do it for us right now on The Splash Live. I want to say a big thank you to all of our guests here today and for Kevin McIntosh for his work out in the field. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.